10. Kylian Mbappé versus Erling Haaland, the next generation war. The battle for who will dominate football's next decade starts here. Mbappé, France's golden boy with a World Cup already in his trophy cabinet, versus Haaland, Norway's goal machine who scores like he's playing FIFA on easy mode. Mbappé has the speed of a cheetah and the finishing of a surgeon, but Haaland is built like a Viking warrior and finds the net from impossible angles. When France played Norway in recent matches, both players were desperate to outshine the other. Mbappé hit the post twice trying to score a screamer, while Haaland nearly broke the crossbar with a header that could have decapitated the goalkeeper. The rivalry intensified when Haaland publicly said he'd rather score 50 goals than win a World Cup, seemingly taking a dig at Mbappé's international success. Mbappé fired back by posting his World Cup winner's medal on social media with the caption, "Dreams do come true." California will witness the future of football when these two titans clash. 9. Pedri versus Gavi, the Barcelona civil war. Imagine being best friends, playing for the same club, representing the same country, and then slowly realizing you're fighting for the same position. That's exactly what happened to Barcelona's golden boys, Pedri and Gavi. Both players came through La Masia, both made their Spain debuts as teenagers, and both were supposed to be the future of Barcelona together. But as Spain's midfield evolved, it became clear there was only room for one of them as the main creative force. The cracks started showing during Spain training sessions, where Gavi would deliberately try to nutmeg Pedri, while Pedri would refuse to pass to Gavi when better options were available. Spanish media began reporting tension between their families, with both sides believing their son was the better player. When Spain coach Luis de la Fuente has to choose his starting 11 for the World Cup, one of these former best friends will be watching from the bench. The question is, will their friendship survive the selection? 8. Bukayo Saka versus Phil Foden, England's wing warriors. England has a luxury problem, two of the world's best wingers competing for the same spot. Bukayo Saka, Arsenal's speed demon, against Phil Foden, Manchester City's technical wizard. Both players are desperate to be England's main man on the wings. The rivalry peaked during the 2024 Euros when Foden was given the nod over Saka for crucial matches. Saka was visibly frustrated on the bench, and cameras caught him shaking his head when Foden missed a clear chance in the semi-final. After the tournament, Saka's agent made comments about his client deserving more respect from the national team setup. Foden responded by posting training videos of him scoring goals with the caption, "Actions speak louder than words." When England last played, both players were on the pitch, and instead of combining, they kept trying to outdo each other with solo runs and spectacular attempts. Gareth Southgate's replacement will have to decide which wing wizard starts in California. The loser won't take it quietly. 7. Jamal Musiala versus Florian Wirtz, Germany's creative clash. Germany's future depends on choosing between two magicians. Jamal Musiala, the Bayern Munich dribbler who glides past defenders like they're traffic cones, versus Florian Wirtz, the Bayer Leverkusen playmaker who sees passes that don't exist. Both players are 21, both are phenomenally talented, and both believe they should be Germany's main creative outlet. The tension started when Wirtz publicly questioned why Musiala gets more media attention, despite playing in a similar position. Musiala fired back by saying some players talk too much and should focus on their performances. During Germany's recent matches, both players have been guilty of trying to do too much when the other is on the pitch. Musiala attempted 15 dribbles in one game just to prove he was better than Wirtz, while Wirtz tried to score from 30 yards multiple times instead of creating chances for teammates. German fans are divided, Team Musiala versus Team Wirtz. Julian Nagelsmann's selection for the World Cup will determine Germany's playing style and potentially split the nation. 6. Vinícius Jr versus Rafael Leão, the Portuguese-Brazilian proxy war. This rivalry transcends club football. Vinícius Jr chose to represent Brazil despite being eligible for Portugal, while Rafael Leão became Portugal's answer to what they lost. Both are electric wingers, both play on the left, and both think they're the better player. The feud started when Leão gave an interview saying Portugal's attack was more balanced without players who only know how to dribble. Everyone knew he was talking about Vinícius. Real Madrid's Brazilian winger responded by posting a video of his Champions League goals with the caption, "This is how you finish." When Real Madrid played AC Milan, Leão made it personal. He celebrated his goal by doing Vinícius's trademark dance right in front of the Brazilian. Vinícius spent the rest of the match trying to embarrass Leão, attempting skills instead of making simple passes. Portugal versus Brazil in the World Cup knockouts would be the ultimate stage for this rivalry to explode. Both players would be representing their countries while trying to prove who made the right choice. 5. Gianluigi Donnarumma versus Maignan, the Italian goalkeeper war. Italy has two of the world's best goalkeepers and they absolutely despise each other. Gianluigi Donnarumma, the PSG giant, against Maignan, the AC Milan wall. What started as healthy competition became personal hatred. The rivalry began when Donnarumma left AC Milan for PSG, and the club immediately signed Maignan as his replacement. Maignan then gave interviews saying Milan was better off without Donnarumma, calling him a player who only cares about money. Donnarumma fired back, claiming Maignan would never reach his level. During Italy training camps, the two keepers refused to speak to each other. Italian media reported that Donnarumma complained to the coaching staff about Maignan's attitude, while Maignan claimed Donnarumma was trying to undermine him with the national team hierarchy. Roberto Mancini's replacement will have to manage this toxic situation. When Italy plays in California, one of these keepers will be the hero, and the other will be plotting their revenge. 4. Jude Bellingham versus Aurelien Tchouaméni, the Real Madrid power struggle. Playing for the same club should make you teammates, not enemies, but at Real Madrid, Jude Bellingham and Aurelien Tchouaméni are locked in a battle for supremacy that threatens to tear the dressing room apart. Both players arrived as expensive signings, both were supposed to be the future of Real Madrid's midfield, and both believed they should be the main man. The problem started when Bellingham's immediate success overshadowed Tchouaméni's steady development. Spanish media reported heated exchanges during training sessions, with Tchouaméni claiming Bellingham was given preferential treatment because of his transfer fee. Bellingham allegedly responded by telling Tchouaméni to earn his place like everyone else. The rivalry exploded during a Champions League match when Tchouaméni ignored Bellingham's run and shot from 25 yards instead of passing. Bellingham was seen throwing his hands up in frustration, and cameras caught him saying something to Tchouaméni that made the French midfielder shake his head angrily. When England plays France in the World Cup, these Real Madrid teammates will be trying to destroy each other's dreams. Club loyalty goes out the window when national pride is on the line. 3. Rodri versus Casemiro, the defensive midfielder grudge match. Manchester City's Rodri versus Manchester United's Casemiro isn't just about club rivalries, it's about who's the better defensive midfielder of their generation. Both players have won everything at club level, but their personal hatred runs deeper than trophies. The feud started when Casemiro publicly said that Rodri benefited from playing in a superior team, implying he wasn't individually better. Rodri responded by pointing out his consistency versus Casemiro's declining performances at United. Brazilian media called it disrespectful, while Spanish journalists defended their man. During Manchester derbies, both players have made tackles that were more about sending messages than winning the ball. Casemiro once left his foot in late on Rodri, while the Spaniard responded with a perfectly timed but unnecessarily aggressive sliding tackle. The rivalry reached boiling point when Rodri won the Ballon d'Or, with Casemiro posting cryptic social media messages about individual awards, meaning nothing without team success. When Spain plays Brazil in California, these two will be the engines of their teams and neither will give an inch. 2. Luka Modrić versus Kevin De Bruyne, the final battle of legends. Two midfield maestros in the twilight of their careers, desperate for one last moment of glory. Luka Modrić, the Croatian magician who defies aging, versus Kevin De Bruyne, the Belgian pass master fighting against time and injuries. Both players know the 2026 World Cup might be their final chance at international glory. Modrić, at 40, is still pulling strings for Croatia like a puppet master, while De Bruyne, 34, remains Belgium's creative heartbeat despite his injury struggles. The rivalry intensified during the 2024 Nations League when De Bruyne claimed Croatia's style was outdated and relied too much on one player. Modrić responded with a masterclass performance in their next meeting, scoring a 35-yard screamer and dedicating the goal to all the doubters. De Bruyne hit back by saying some players don't know when to retire, a clear dig at Modric's age. The Croatian legend responded by outlasting De Bruyne in their next encounter, with the Belgian substituted after 60 minutes while Modric played the full 90. California will host the final chapter of this legendary rivalry. Both players are running out of time, and neither will go quietly into retirement. 1. Cristiano Ronaldo versus Kylian Mbappé, the torch that won't be passed. The ultimate rivalry, the aging king versus the prince who wants his throne. Cristiano Ronaldo, 41 years old and refusing to step aside against Kylian Mbappé, 27 and tired of waiting for his coronation. This isn't just about Portugal versus France anymore. It's about legacy, respect, and who gets to be called the best player in the world. Mbappé has been publicly frustrated with Ronaldo's refusal to acknowledge him as football's new superstar, while Ronaldo continues to break records and claim he's still the greatest. The rivalry exploded when Mbappé said in an interview that the old generation needs to step aside for the new. Everyone knew he was talking about Ronaldo. The Portuguese legend responded by scoring a hat-trick in his next match and celebrating with his signature feud while staring directly at the cameras. When PSG played Al Nassr in a friendly, Ronaldo scored twice and celebrated each goal by mimicking Mbappe's celebrations. The Frenchman responded with a goal of his own and a celebration that mocked Ronaldo's age, pretending to walk with a walking stick. Portuguese media called it disrespectful to a legend. French media said it was time for Ronaldo to accept reality. The football world was split down the middle. The 2026 World Cup in California might be Ronaldo's last chance to prove he's still the king. Mbappé will be desperate to finally step out of the shadow of the man who dominated football for 2 decades. When Portugal meets France, it won't just be a football match, it'll be a generational war with the crown jewels of football history on the line. These rivalries will turn the 2026 World Cup into a psychological battlefield. In California's sun-soaked stadiums, egos will clash as much as teams. The beautiful game has never been more personal, and we can't wait to watch it all unfold. If you enjoyed these intense rivalries, there's another video showing the most heated World Cup moments that will make you realize why football is more than just a game. If you enjoyed this video, subscribe and like for more.